is November 25th, 2024. And I'm making a video, talk a little bit more about our good friends in Wyoming. So I got an email from the Wyoming stable token, and it talked about the top 7 finalists. And there's something I noticed here that's really interesting. And now that we're friends with the XRP community, I just wanted to point something out here. All right. So bring up this email. Hello, the Wyoming Stablecoin Commission has initiated its procurement process for the Wyoming Stable Token, WYST. It is expected to launch in 2025 as the first fiat-backed and fully reserved stable token issued by a public entity in the United States. The Commission intends to engage qualified third-party vendors to facilitate the development, deployment, and management of WYST and the underlying reserves. And it says we're going to have a request for qualification for those vendors. But here are the blockchain networks. The following the efforts of our blockchain selection working group in a very opaque way, may I add. The following networks are determined to be in scope for the initial deployment of the Wyoming stablecoin. Solana, Avalanche, okay. Sui, Stellar, and Ethereum, inclusive of the layer 2 networks like Polygon, Arbitrum, Base, and Optimism. So let me get this straight. Apparently, Stellar can do stuff that Ripple can't do, according to the scoring criteria. So Ripple just announced the launch of RLUSD, and the last time I checked, when we look at market cap here, look at XRP, an $84 billion ecosystem with almost $12 billion in trading, and it has all these amazing payment and settlement capabilities, including that free Cs for assets issued in the XRP ledger. Cardano was also excluded. It's $34 billion market cap, $3.2 billion in turnaround. But Stellar, a variant of the protocol, was selected. Signed, Anthony Apollo, the executive director, former Consensus employee who also worked in the Polygon ecosystem. It's almost as if Consensus doesn't get along so well with Ripple, isn't it? But there you have it, folks. These guys right here, there were some scoring criteria. This blockchain select working group unilaterally scored. There was no public process or determination. Typically, what you do when you do these things is that you publish with a period of time what you want, your functional product requirements, so what it has to do, and your non-functional, how it has to perform. Okay. Then you say anybody who wants to qualify for an ecosystem, build a proof of concept and demonstrate that the proof of concept satisfies that. So I'm really curious how Stellar has apparently more capabilities than Ripple. And in what way in these two ecosystems for the purpose of launching a stable coin? Ripple just launched one. It seems to satisfy all those requirements, but they were excluded. An $84 billion ecosystem that's been around even longer than Cardano, as was Cardano. Algorand was also excluded. Tezos was also excluded. Aptos was also excluded. Dozens and dozens and dozens of viable, interesting ecosystems were excluded, not even given a chance to try to build a proof of concept to demonstrate that they were capable of that. The former Consensus employee, executive director, made that decision. So there you have it, XRP community. Cardano and XRP are a lot closer these days, and I'm starting to really come around on a lot of the stuff that you guys have been talking about. This one smells the high hell. It does, doesn't it? So as I mentioned in the prior video, we'll get it sorted and cleaned up, but it's kind of a shame because we all need counterbalances to Circle and Tether, and it seems like this is just an extension of that beautiful Circle ecosystem that's coming out. One of the commissioners used to work for Circle. I believe she was the general counsel. Sui just announced Circle support. In fact, I think all those chains that were announced were all Circle chains, every single one of them. Interesting how that happens. So things are changing in 2025. We don't have any patience or tolerance for this type of stuff anymore. And opaque processes are not how we're going to have a relationship with the government moving forward. And that's why I believe there's a lot of good-hearted people in the state of Wyoming to get this done. And by the way, there might even be a class action because anybody who was excluded certainly has standing. This creates an unfair competitive advantage to those chains selected and an unfair disadvantage to the chains not selected. And since it's an opaque process and normal procurement wasn't followed by any semblance of the world, and there's no opportunity for a chain to build a proof of concept to demonstrate they adhere to the requirements to qualify, it really is interesting how a small group of people, former consensus employees and former employees of Circle, can act as judge, jury, and executioner for what chains qualify with public funds and a public project. I would also like to point out, because of Cardano's partnership with Boss, Bitcoin OS, Cardano creates an opportunity for Bitcoin to have its first stablecoin. This commission decided under these criteria to exclude Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by far, and the only one the current president, who's coming into power, Trump, is considering starting a strategic reserve for. It's truly curious to me, because I know how many people in Wyoming are Team Bitcoin and Team Orange, how they were also excluded from this process. Bitcoin apparently is not allowed, but the Circle ecosystem is, by former Circle employees. Go figure. Smells the high hell, if you ask me. So XRP community, you know what to do. And we do too. We're going to get this fixed one way or the other. And it's not okay to use public funds to create an unfair competitive advantage for certain companies and certain ecosystems, and to whitewash it as if it was an open process. For a year and a half, the lawmakers and the committee was directly aligned with this idea of, we'll publish the standards, and as long as you can adhere to them and demonstrate that you can do that, you qualify. And then suddenly, within a period of a month, they went from, that's what we're going to do, to, we're going to score you ourselves, and we'll just publish who qualifies. And I can't for the life of me understand how Stellar qualifies, but not Ripple, given the unique history. That would be like Litecoin qualifying, but not Bitcoin. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah. And because we don't qualify, we can't even bid to build. We didn't lose an RFP. We weren't even allowed to participate. The entire XRP community is not allowed to participate. The Algorand community is not allowed to participate. The Tezos community is not allowed to participate. But all the things that Circle touches are. So saith the former consensus employee and now executive director, who's decided to take this upon himself to decide for all of us with the taxpayer dollars of the state of Wyoming. Smells the high hell to me.